I'm a massive fan of making and multiplying money, but before you become a millionaire, before you become rich, you need to learn how to manage your finances, and that's exactly what I'm going to be covering in today's video. So before we even look at management of money, you need to understand what you're actually managing. So first of all, it's what you are earning. And no, I do not mean what your gross salary is. For example, saying I earn 20,000 a year. Isn't it weird how people know their salaries by heart, like a gross amount, but they don't actually know how much they net? For example, £20,000 a year is around £17,000 a year once you take off national insurance and the taxes, and then obviously that's going to net down to about $14.50 per month. And if we're basing our year off of 20,000 when in fact it's 17,000, you're already at a loss before we've even got started. Now that you know what's coming in, you need to know what's going out, and this is your expenditure. Check. Expenditure. So your expenditure is everything that's going out on a monthly basis. The way that I'd recommend this is you want what's known as a T3. So a T3 is a trailing 3. You go on your credit cards, your debit cards, whatever, and you print out the last 3 months worth of bank statements. And this will probably completely shock you how much you spend on coffees at Starbucks or Costa, how many takeaways you get. Oh, you forgot that you still got that Netflix subscription that you don't watch, or an Audible or Amazon Prime or Disney, or all of these stuff. You might look at your phone bill and go, wow, am I really spending £60 a month on my phone? I barely use it. Do I need that plan? And the more you actually visualize, and it's the whole where focus goes, energy flows, and results show, but the more you focus on this, the better you're going to be able to associate your needs analysis to it. Getting to that, I would then list this out into needs, all the way down to your wants. Now, being realistic with this, you need to understand the difference between a need and a want. For example, I need to get to work. But if I've got a car that's costing me £500 a month and it's coming towards the end of the lease and I'm struggling financially, or I want to improve my financial literacy, then I'm going to say, actually, do I need this car? No, it's a want. I could get a very good car for £200 a month or less. And you need to be thinking about actions. More than likely, it's the smaller changes that we're going to need to look at. For example, you need your house. Do you need to go on online shopping every single month and spend £500 a month? No, you don't. That is a want, not a need. You do not need new shoes or a new coat. You've got plenty already. So when you list these, it's going to allow you to start off with the obvious ones. Look, if you've got Netflix and you barely watch it, or if you've got Netflix and Amazon Prime and Disney, pick one, cut the other two. Okay, that's going to save you 20 quid a month. Do you need a £60 a month phone? No, get the plan for 20 quid a month. You get my point over and over. I had a mentee do this. They spent £3 a month and they said to me, there are no savings whatsoever. And when he went through this process, he ended up saving £900 a month. That's off of his expenditure where he thought there were no savings whatsoever. Just by focusing on them and doing some of the steps coming up, he eradicated £900 a month. That's £10,800 every single year that's keeping and staying in his bank account. Number 3 is we're going to look at your debts. Scary stuff, debt, right? So first of all, debt isn't always bad. Debt for a car, for example, is a bad debt. Debt for a property investment is good debt. The way to differentiate is the debt reinvested into something that's making you more money? So I always think if I put debt on my education, my marketing, or an investment, I feel perfectly comfortable making that commitment. Anything outside of that, bad debt, walk away. It's hard to really comprehend that, but most millionaires and definitely billionaires that are self-made, most of what got them there is debt. Okay, so I became a millionaire by getting into debt, and I am millions of pounds in debts, and hopefully I will be hundreds of millions in debt as I get older and older, because that's going to increase my value. But let's focus on the bad debt. What you're going to do with this is you're going to list them out on a spreadsheet in line with APRs. APRs is a simple way of showing what the real cost of that loan is on an annual basis. Now, I see this as an investment. For example, if I've got £1,000 on a credit card, it's really easy to not think about it because you're paying 40 quid a month or whatever it is, right? That's only 40 quid a month. But if you look at the APR and it's 29%, which isn't ridiculous, you're paying 29%, give or take, because it is slightly different, on that. Imagine I said to you, give me £100,000 and I'll give you 29% return on your money. You'd be like, oh my God, that is amazing, right? Yeah, of course you would. But people don't seem to think the same as debt. What they'll do is they'll get a credit card and go, it's only 50 quid a month. So instead of, if you've got a credit card that's like that, don't even think about investing right now. Order these from the biggest to the smallest and start attacking the debt from the highest APR to the lowest, and then when you get to any debt that is below 6% interest, only then will you start thinking about investing. Number 4 is budgeting. So when you're looking at budgets, there's so many out there that it's really good. Like, I've done the jar system video, pot system, which is good to watch after this, but there's so many out there, the 70-30-10, sorry, 70-20-10, all of those, where actually for the average everyday person, it's quite complex. So the one I prefer is the Life 50-50. So this is a really simple way. You won't be able to search it, it's something I've made up, by the way, but the Life 50-50 is a representation of what your actual life costs right now. So a lot of people go, spend 50% on your lifestyle. It's like, yeah, that's all right when you're earning 5 to 10 grand a month. It's easy to go, if you're earning 5 grand a month, live on 2.5 grand a month. It's a lot harder to go live on 50% of your income when you're earning 20 grand a year and taking home 1,400 a month. It's hard to go, yeah, live on 700. It's like, no, fuck off. You live on 700, why don't you? So what I like doing is working out what your life is, and be restrictive on this, by the way. Cut down your wants, cut down your credit cards as you're going forward. And so what I like doing is living life and actually living life. You know, don't be going out spraying money everywhere. But if you're part of a £20 a month gym, that's a good investment, I think. Don't just scrap it, go to it and actually utilize it. But you live your life, and then what you do is you split the rest 50-50. This is the easiest way until you've paid down your debts. 50% goes on living and enjoying yourself. 50% goes into an investment. And this is really important, by the way. Let's say you earn 2 grand a month and net, just to make the numbers easy, and your expenditure is 1,800 a month, okay, to survive. Maybe that's your just living expenses, right? But you go, well, really, I've got £200 left over. You want me to spend 100 and invest 100. That's not really going to make a difference, right? It doesn't matter if that's £1 or £1,000. It's the psychology of what you're doing. So you're constantly taking a bit and then paying up. And paying up is actually Floyd Mayweather that said this. Everything he earns, he puts half up, and you reinvest it. So whether he's earned $1 million or 100 million from a fight, 50 million goes on him, spends whatever he wants, 50 million goes into investments after all the tax, right? So live your life, then split the rest, 50% towards living, because honestly, what's the point if you're just going to invest absolutely everything? You need to enjoy it a little bit and then invest the rest. This will set you up with a really good investment philosophy. Now, some of you might go, oh yeah, but I only earn 2 grand a month or £1 grand a month or 1,400 a month, whatever it is, and my costs are higher than I earn. What do I do then? Suck it up. Okay, seriously, restrict your money going out as much as possible. And if you don't like it, get another job. When I started, it baffles me where people are like, oh my God, it's like, you work 37.5 hours. So I do that in about 2 days sometimes. And I'm not saying you have to work ridiculous hours, but welcome to the reality of the 21st century. Shit is expensive. for everybody. I had 3 jobs when I started out, and they were full-time jobs. I barely slept. And then once I'd got some investments and paid my debt down, I cut down to 2 jobs. And then I cut down to a full-time job and a part-time job. Meanwhile, I was investing. And then I managed to quit my job altogether. And now my job is this, my business, and building it up and child-minding all of my staff. I love it. Right, so live your life frugally. Enjoy your life with 50% of what's left and invest the rest. And if you're cut under that, get another job. Honestly, sometimes I'm not going to tell you what you want, but it's what you need to hear. Suck it up, grow up, get another job. Number 5 is negotiate. You can do this, Jamie. Negotiate everything. It will shock you how much you can negotiate. And, recently I've made some silly purchases, let's say, but even the Aston Martin that I just bought, I negotiated about 8 grand off of that. I've just bought a bit of artwork where I negotiated 1,500 off of that. And these are things where you're like, nobody negotiates those sort of things. Yes, they do. People expect it. But okay, that's great artwork and cars, Jamie, but what about at some lower levels? Well, how about your phone bill? How about your electric provider? How about everything else within there? Insurance, Audible, Netflix, Prime, all of those you can negotiate. And it might not be long-term negotiation, but even Audible. And I don't like doing this for the sake of it, but if you try to leave Audible, they'll give you 3 months at half price, for example. Please don't do that for the sake of it, because I also believe in contribution. But if that's going to keep you educated, but you're going to save 5-6 quid a month, that's a lot of money. Now, don't turn your nose up at that. All of those little £1, £2, £5 savings really do go a long way. You call your phone provider and say, hey, I'm really happy with the network. I'm not happy with the cost. I'm thinking about leaving. What can you do for me? They won't go, nothing. They'll go, well, let's look at what plan you're on. Let's look at actually how much internet you're really using, how many texts you're really using, how many phone calls you're really making. Hey, for the last 6 months, you've never gone over this. We can bring that down to £27. Does that work for you? Yes, it does. Negotiate absolutely everything. Number 6, consolidate. And what you're not seeing is I just screwed this word up. So consolidate your loans. If you've got 5 or 6 credit cards, for example, that add up to 15 grand, what you'll probably find is you can go into your bank, say, hey, look, I've got £15,000 worth of credit cards. I'm paying 20% on them. You can see I've been paying them religiously every single month. Could you give me a bank loan, a personal loan of $15,000 for the purpose of paying off this debt? They may say no, by the way, but often they will stipulate that it is to pay off that debt. And you'll suddenly find not only are you paying a lot less interest, but you're also paying a lot less every single month. So you've got 2 options. Either you get a bit of money back, which can then go into that investment pot, or you pay the same amount on a monthly basis, but instead of paying it off in, for example, 5 years, now maybe you're paying it down over 3 years. Again, it's one of these things that not many people think about, but if you've got the loans there, get something to consolidate the lot and reduce your monthly payments. Number 7 is contribute to a savings account, however small. And I would use this as my 50%. It's all about psychology. Even if it is £5 a week, £5 a month, just contribute. And what you're trying to do psychologically here is you're showing yourself that no matter how much money you've got coming in or out, you can always put some aside. I recommend getting in this money and getting it out straight away. For example, if you get in £1,000 a month and you know your expenses are £900 a month, the first thing I do when I get my £1,000 is put the 50 quid, which is 50% of the remaining 100 left over, into that savings account. That's it. And I'd have it where if you're bad with money, I'd have it that you need a signatory from your mum, your dad, somebody else that you trust before you're able to drive that money out. By forcing that money out of your account up front, you've then got £950. You know your bills are 900, so you've only got £50 left over. Whereas psychologically, if you leave it to the end, I can near guarantee you don't spend that 50 quid, you'll spend 70 or 80 or 90, and then you'll get £10 left over and you go, it's only a tenner, I'll leave it till next month. right? We all do it, we're human. So get it out of your account, save it up into the savings, and do not touch it until you have £1,000. Now that might take you a year, it might take you 3 years, it might take you 2 months, it doesn't matter. But do not touch it until there is £1,000 sat in the account. Psychologically, you are going to train yourself to save money and understand that just because money is there, it doesn't mean you need to spend it. And often what you'll have when you build up this aptitude of financial literacy, you'll then go, well, why would I spend that 1,000? Why don't I invest it and get £100 a year paid back to me at a 10% rate? And then build up another 1,000, £200, and then another 1,000, you're at £300. And you build up and build up and build up this long-term investment mindset. Finally, and this is once you've done all of this, you will set up your JARS account. Your JARS account is, I've actually done a video on this that I'll bring up after, but this is what's going to create financial freedom. And it's about really setting the tone for your financial future. And I've had mentees do this that have been earning £1,000 a month. I've also had mentees do it that are earning tens of thousands a month. And because of this management process that really helps you invest in a wise way whilst also enjoying your life, means that it's a lot more sustainable over the long term. So this has been your Money Management 101, how to manage your money effectively, and it's part of the Make, Manage and Multiply investment series that I'm looking to do on the channel. If you are new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And if you got value from this video, it really does help me if you just leave a like and a comment below. And before you jump off YouTube, make sure you watch this next video.